Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, you're like, what?
Oh, we might as well open up with it.
I don't see why not.
We might as well open up with it, man. Oh wow, that is priceless.
Well, and you got to know you're going to get called out like that. It's really kind of absurd. I mean, I understand coaches have mantras and they want to say certain things, but you can't be like, I'm building a program here. And then.
Yeah. I should message real quick the SO and say, hey, we're opening up with something.
Yeah.
We're opening up with something.
Well, I think we're live now. So if you are just joining us, we are trying to make this the mecca of Pub Chat podcasts for everybody out there.
Yes.
Welcome. This is the Evan and Aaron show. I'm Aaron. This is my buddy, Evan. If you didn't catch us through the intro, we are already talking about the weasel that is Lincoln Riley, the former head football coach of Oklahoma University, who left them in a huff to take the University of Southern California position. And in his introductory press conference, said something to the effect of that he intends to make USC the mecca of football. And Evan, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I mean, first of all, how you doing, man? It's good to see you, brother.
Good.
I've got so much to say about Lincoln Riley. If it were me, all right, and I have some contacts from Oklahoma that were reporting that Lincoln Riley didn't have a whole lot of input as far as going into the SEC. Is like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that, and just it looks sure. Cowardice. I mean, it looks cowardice, man. It's like when you have all of that stuff floating out there, and you're like, I'm not sure I want to play the SEC. Even a little sniff or hint of that rumor, I'm like, come on, man, come on. I'm like, you've got one of the premier teams in the nation. You do. Okay, you had an off year. Ohio State had an off year too. That doesn't mean that we don't want to play the SEC. We'll play the SEC. Heck, it's any given Saturday, man. Yeah. Any given Saturday. And for him to do it like this, to announce to the boys before the bowl game that he's like, deuces. Not even coaching. He's not going to coach the bowl game. It's going to be Bob Stoops that's going to step in and coach the bowl game. He left now. He's gone.
Well,
he's gone.
Let's take that a step further. I mean, that's a ridiculous move. But you've got Brian Kelly, coach of the number 5 team in the country, turning around and doing the same thing to go to LSU.
Wait, what?
Hold on. You started this conversation and you didn't know Notre Dame's coach has done the exact same thing?
When did this happen? Today?
No, it was yesterday or the day before news.
Dude, I've been working, man. I've been working. I
loves a working man. Lord loves a working man.
Ed Orgeron's gone? I mean, wait. Ed Orgeron gone? He gone? He gone? Yeah. Oh, man.
And explain to me why you would. I mean, does Brian Kelly, is he from Louisiana? Does he have some sort of?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why he would take that job.
I mean, if you've got some sort of personal tie and this is where you've always wanted to go, I've never begrudged guys. Like, look, when Cristiano Ronaldo left Manchester United, it was sad, but a kid from Portugal grows up, Real Madrid is his goal. He went to Manchester United, and that's a great club to play for. I don't have any problem with a guy saying, I have an opportunity to go play for the club. That has always been my dream club, and we won a Champions League. We've won a title. I'm World Player of the Year. I have more shit to prove, and I want to do it there. And he's done it everywhere he's gone. I don't have a problem with that. But unless Brian Kelly's wife's family's from there or some shit like that, that's a punk move, man. That's even worse. To me, it's worse than Lincoln Riley.
Dude, it's almost like it's like, okay, we just got back from Thanksgiving. It's as if one of your siblings come in with like, someone that you absolutely know is not right for them. It's that same feel. It's like, dude, have you really thought this through, man?
Right.
Because I just don't know. I'm just saying that is the to all of our Notre Dame fans and our friends out there who are Notre Dame fans, we are very sorry.
Well, then
And
my Facebook post the other day probably made no sense at all to you then. Because I
I'm
said,
trying to,
if the sporting gods have a sense of humor, Urban Meyer's heading to Notre Dame next.
okay. Because I was like, wait,
How many
why would he
things?
be going to Notre Dame?
Well, and somebody had a great joke. The next thing to fall into Urban Meyer's lap will be a coaching job.
And I'm a Buckeye fan, and that's funny as hell, man.
Yeah, but after a while, I mean, it's hard to back people, you know. I mean, I got mad respect for what Bob Knight did at Indiana University, but at some point in time, you got to say this guy's toxic. I thought,
like, grow up.
I thought, shit, Kelvin Sampson was a tremendous choice for a head coach at Indiana University for what he knew about basketball. But he couldn't walk the straight and narrow, you know, and I'm not going to defend that kind of behavior. Look, Urban Meyer's in my lifetime, one of the best college football coaches around, and he's proven it time and time again, like a Nick Saban and like the other dude, Alabama dude.
Saban.
Yeah, Saban.
Nick Saban.
Yeah. I'm thinking of his sort of understudy guy. But anyway, I mean, there's
Sarkisian.
Yeah.
Steve Sarkisian.
You know, some tremendous football coaches, but Urban Meyer belongs in that conversation, but you can't, but he's turning into like John Calipari or something, or a Rick Pitino. Like I can get, I'm royalty now. I can get away with whatever I want. Doesn't work like that, bro. Does for a minute.
2021.
Does for a minute. So yeah, there's the college coaching carousel. Sticking with college sports and Ohio State. Well done to you and your boys last night, putting a beat down on Duke in the second half. I mean, they shut them down.
They did. I was, I love this Big Ten ACC challenge. I really do, because, I think it displays the Big Ten, and even though, most years we fall about one, we get beat, but it's only like 1 or 2 games short. That's it. I mean, we are on par as a conference. In my opinion, we're on par with the ACC, which is kind of like in football being on par with the SEC.
Well, I mean, I think the Big Ten is perennially one of the top 2-3 conferences around. You know, there's occasionally a down year, things like that. But I would imagine at some point in time we could see 8 or 9 ranked Big Ten teams. You know, IU got beat last night, but I don't think it's going to be too long before they're ranked. Illinois is going to get ranked again. There's already Michigan State, Michigan, I believe Purdue's number 2. I want to say maybe Iowa is in there. I know there's some top teams. So, it's going to be a hell of a year in the conference. I'm excited for what we got. I'm excited for what everybody's got. What's that?
Don't forget Michigan.
Yep.
Michigan, man. I'm telling you.
I was there.
Yeah. So I agree with you, man. This ACC Big Ten challenge has been really cool. The boys put on a great display that second half. I was like, holy cow, we're handling Duke. Yeah. I mean, Duke when we talk about Duke today, it's not like the Christian Laettner or the Grant. We're not talking about Grant Hill or anybody like that. But Duke is still Duke. Yeah. I mean, Coach K. I mean, you still have the whole mystique and everything, and to put a beat down on them,
well,
is pretty significant.
Hold on. Yes, IO. Brian Kelly to LSU. It makes no sense.
Yeah. No.
Why is my computer being all silly? Duke. Coach. Is Coach K still there? I thought he was stepping down because of his back.
Let's see. Did he coach last night? I don't know.
That's what I was looking up. Let's see. Duke head coach. Now it's going to slow down my performance on everything.
I'm looking at it now.
Okay, they've named the next coach, but
okay,
Coach
Yeah,
K's still there, I think.
no, yeah, he's still. Oh wow, that was really loud. Yeah, he's still there. But get this, man. Besides Indiana and Northwestern, we have taken 6 out of 8 of the games played already.
Well, and that IU Syracuse game went to double overtime, and I'm not taking anything away from Syracuse. There were a couple questionable calls. Let's just say.
Okay.
But IU played poopy in the first half and played incredibly well in the second half. And anybody who doubts Trace Jackson Davis is ready for the next level is not watching, because he dunked on everybody in the building at some point in time. It is nasty.
Oh, wow.
Kid's just amazing. So,
man, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, and it's awesome to see, because they're still kids. I mean, some of these, a lot of them are going to go pro and they're going to mature, but it's still great to see the learning and the maturing process and watch what's going on. I mean, I'm an IU fan, so, Woody being back from, being an NBA level coach, he's got NBA caliber players trying to get the program where it needs to be.
Yep.
It's fun to watch that process. It really is.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. And I think it means more. It means more because IU, I mean,
oh yeah.
It just does. It would be totally different if you came in and tried to rebuild an Ohio State or rebuild. I mean, even rebuilding Michigan State. Izzo is incredible and he's awesome. But when you think basketball, right, I still think people. I'm sorry. I still think people think IU. I mean, and to rebuild a program like that, is just it's going to be good for everyone. It's going to be good for everyone, man.
Well, much like American infrastructure, it was something that people thought was really, really good and was always going to be there. And then they forgot about it. Didn't give it the thought that it needed, the upkeep that it needed, and it fell into disarray. And it's a whole lot easier to upkeep a bridge than it is to have to tear down that bridge and build a new one. And that's unfortunately what they've had to do. Along those lines, the Build Back Better bill was passed, and infrastructure week lasted.
Artist,
thank you.
You are, man. Damn.
Infrastructure week lasted 4 years under Donald Trump and never accomplished anything. Meanwhile, under his first year, the Build Back Better plan has been passed, and I think that's a very good thing. And of course, immediately, Republicans who voted against it are already running ads saying, look what's going on. We're going to get new bridges. Fuck you.
You're right. You can't do that, man. It's as if, once again, it's as if you are, there Christmas Day with your brothers, and you're the only one to ask for the Atari, and they've asked for all bullshit type stuff, and then you get the Atari and they're like, oh my God, this is the best. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I asked for this, so I get to play first. It's like Republicans are running in and they're claiming all of this stuff. The guy from Alabama we talked about, and like, here's what I will say to that, and I don't want to belabor the point, but here's what I'll say to that: is that if the Democrats do not immediately have someone developing commercials, calling out every single Republican who did not vote for this, you all need a lobotomy. I'm telling you, they've got to run with this, man.
It doesn't seem like a really overly complex decision to make. I mean, it right. You're like, no, you didn't vote for this. You actively said it was going to be bad. It was going to add to the deficit and all this stuff. And now, because people are going to be driving on those nice new roads and they're going to have extra money in their pocket to pay for childcare, and the bridge that they need to get to their childcare is going to be fixed, and the falling down school that their kid goes to is going to get fixed. They're going to notice that type of stuff. And I mean, I wouldn't call it a victory lap, even though it is, but man, every prominent Democrat out there should be on a 2-week long circuit, hitting some spots, saying, look, I don't care if you dislike the guy or not, we're getting it done. You said you wanted to mix things up with the last guy. You were sick of nothing getting done and the bottleneck and all this stuff. Well, you know what? Joe Biden had a plan and his folks enacted it, and good things are going to happen from it. They need to get the other side of that deal done. The voting rights stuff. And honestly, until they do get it done, I would be running ads saying, this is precisely what the Democrats want you to be able to vote. We believe that every vote, one vote, every vote counts, one vote, one man. And that, I'd be running quotes from prominent Republican election board leaders who reiterated time and again, this, not only was there not voter fraud, this was the most secure federal election in American history.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you guys are talking about. I've been doing this job for 25 years. That's why I'm the Nevada commissioner of elections, or that's probably a bad example, but Raffensperger in Georgia and guys in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin saying, look, I even voted for Trump, but I'm not going to sit here and lie about what the outcome was, because that undermines the credibility of one of the most important institutions in America. We don't have a democracy without it. So, I'd be banging that drum, man.
Yeah, no, that drum. And you know what? I would put out front, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. People have got to hear this, not only from Joe, but they got to hear it from Kamala.
Yeah.
They've got to hear it from Kamala. I mean, she's so good, man.
I think it'd be awesome if she showed up at a press conference and busted out all them new pots and pans and did like a cooking show at the exact same time. You got that stimulus check?
I'm gonna show you what's up. Yeah.
Here's some Southern grit. Where's Kamala from? She's California, isn't she?
California. Yep.
Make some avocado toast in those new pans, baby.
Yeah. There you go. Avocado toast. There you go. That's what it is. Man, I tell you, it is it's fortunate that we had that passed. I think that when people start realizing, and this is why I know it's spread out over 10 years. I hope that the big ticket stuff, like the big wins, we can actually get boots on the ground for those before next year, so people can actually start to see. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's spread over 10 years. Great, wonderful. Mm-hmm. It's going to be awesome. Can we hold power for the next 10 years? That's a big question.
Well, Joe tweeted that some things are going to begin in 2022. I think the childcare stuff kicks in. Yeah. I think some of the bigger ticket items they want to try to break ground on. Yeah, I'm with you. They've got to be in action by July to really be demonstrating to people.
They've got to be in red areas too.
Yeah.
I mean, and those of us who those who did vote Democrat, you've got to realize that. You've got to realize that this thing has to. West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, you got to go. Screw it. You got to go Texas,
Alabama, Mississippi, Florida.
You got to go all over there.
Yep.
You got to go all over there. You got to do it. And hell, throw in, just for good measure, throw in Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Because those two, it's like, which way is it going to go? But I think the key is if there's anything in Iowa.
Yeah, for sure.
Jump on it.
Well, I would target anything red and purple. I'd be going after. And I'm not saying I wouldn't go to the blue states, but I would make sure the blue state was a 30-minute meet and greet, and then get on to the real, 2 PM, 5 PM, meat and potatoes in some hard places. You're going to see, let's go Brandon. You're going to see fuck Joe Biden. You're going to see these signs. I don't think that phases Joe Biden one bit. I think that's like a big game baller walking into a crowd. I tell you, in college, I'm not sure which I enjoyed more, people cheering for me after I scored a goal or people booing me at the beginning of the game when my name got introduced. Because that means you know me. That means I'm about to bring the thunder. And you wouldn't be mad at Joe Biden if he weren't bringing it.
Did you get booed in Cincinnati? You didn't get booed by us. We were too polite.
I was going to say, man, we felt bad after the end of those games, man.
You're like, do you want us to pray with you? I mean,
Yeah.
dude,
We hope to drag the infield of the softball diamond. It's all good.
oh man, I tell you, nice segue. I think, talking to sports and things like that, a lot of us are going to be going to sports gatherings, matches, games. Please be careful, guys.
Yeah.
Omicron is here. First reported case was in California.
Yep.
And it was a guy who traveled from South Africa and came in, I think, November 22nd, no, 24th, and started showing symptoms November 29th.
Mm-hmm.
Got tested. Test came back positive for COVID, and specifically the variant Omicron. Not a lot is known about it, Aaron. Not a lot is known about it. Scientists are saying that it has some mutations that have them worried. What say you about this this new variant we've got, man?
Well, I got two prominent thoughts, and the first is I loved the way Joe Biden came out and he said, this is something to be concerned about, but it's not necessarily something to panic about because of how well vaccinated we are. We don't have enough information yet to jump to any sort of really negative conclusions. A guy in my feed that I have mad respect for, he's a doctor, and he really does a great job of breaking down new information, and I share it a lot. I hope some of you see it. Hat tip, Nippon Chopra. But they're concerned about the number of mutations that it might have, whether or not it's going to be, more communicable, more transmissible than previous variants. It's got a lot more in common with the original virus because of it. It's been hidden away for a while. There was the scare for South Africa, and the irony is there was a good point made by the UN Director General, I think today, is like, look, first off, you can't shit on the African countries that haven't been able to get this under control when you're hoarding the vaccine. And secondly, it was South African scientists who singled it out and told the rest of you. It had gotten to Europe. It was already in Europe. The Europeans didn't know about it. South African scientists, who, by the way, have a phenomenal biological and epidemiological study process going on down there. A lot of that information comes from them. They did a great job and they should be rewarded for that. I know, there's been a lot of back and forth about whether or not shutting down borders and travel is the right way to go. I'm not going to take a huge stance on that because, again, if the evidence says shutting down the borders just doesn't make that big of a difference in its ability to be transmitted, then I'm good with that. There was, when Trump first suggested it, it seemed more malicious rather than a safety kind of thing, more of a punishment.
It absolutely did. Absolutely.
And then the second thing I would say, there's been, of course, the right, expect more variants to come out every October right before elections and stuff like that. And you know what? That's fine. That's some legit fear mongering. But them saying that, hey, it's an anagram for moronic. Well, first off, it is an anagram for moronic. Beta is an anagram for beat. And we could probably play this game all night long because I'm good at Scrabble and shit like this. I'll figure the words out. But for those of you who don't know, Omicron is a Greek letter, like alpha, beta, delta, all these other ones. Although in order to not politicize it, they're not going to use XI because the president of Japan is G. So they're going to skip that one.
Yes. Okay.
But other than that, I mean, I've really reached a point where I just don't even entertain the people that, are still, well, there needs to be more research done and blah, 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 blah. Fine. Stay home. You can have whatever opinion you want. Just stay the fuck home. And if you don't, you deserve a punch in the mouth. You really do.
Well, and this is what was being said today. And once again, it's just heartbreaking. Dude, we're at 60% for the entire nation. 60% fully vaccinated. I'm like, dude, just if we were able to get more people vaccinated, if we were able to get through to those folks who were like, nope, not going to do it, these variants would slow down.
Yeah.
These variants would not have, won't affect us as much. And like I said, they will slow down because we will have, reached herd immunity.
Yeah.
Well, because there are people already saying, "Oh, we are already at herd immunity." No, we're not. We're not even anywhere close, bro. No. It's like this thing just keeps mutating. And for those people, and I want to say this, for those people who are vaccinated, who are like, "Well, I'm good, aren't I?" No,
it's a help. It's definitely a help.
It's a help. It doesn't protect us from it though. It protects us from going to the hospital and getting really, really sick.
True, but we need to
still get sick.
We need to transition as a culture.
Yeah.
To treating this the way we do the seasonal flu, but keep in mind how we kept seasonal flu last year at its lowest level in over 20 years. People masking, social distancing, taking appropriate precautions, and also I'm getting a booster shot and my flu shot on Friday. I expect to be a little under the weather that night because my immune system is probably going to go into high gear. At the same time, I have been the person. I haven't had a flu shot for 20 years.
Same.
And
I got mine together too, man. And you will be down for a little bit.
I was wrong about that. I was wrong. Yeah. I was flippant. I definitely had it. I'm young and it doesn't impact me and I'm not going to die from the flu. And the reality is I'm not going to die from the flu, even though I hate the flu and it sucks. And I cry like a little baby wanting his mama when I get the flu. It's more about my 73-year-old father who may not be able to handle it if he has a compromised immune system. It's somebody I don't even know that we will spend 2 minutes in line together at a Walmart. It's that situation. And, I saw a great meme today and it was, big overbearing red hat wearing guy. I'm a patriot. I'd take a bullet for my country. And then there's this little woman and she says, whatever, you won't even take a shot to protect your neighbor. So shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not as big and bad as you say you are. You're actually afraid of a lot of things. And what you're afraid of most is people thinking that you're not making a decision for yourself when you are absolutely making a decision for yourself based on the best information possible. Because literally when people are like, oh, you're just going to listen to what the CDC says, the WHO says. Yeah. Because you know what? I have no capacity to do this kind of research on my own. I'm going to isolate a disease in my little lab in my fucking back room.
It's absurd, man. It is so absurd. And I want to say this before we go to halftime. I did not mean that, I did not mean to discredit the shot or anything like that. And if anybody, anybody watches this, that's not what I was talking about. What I'm talking about is specifically the fact that, yes, even fully vaccinated people, as this guy was in California, fully vaccinated people can still get COVID. And we don't even know. Unlike the flu, we don't even know what kind of side effects will eventually come around with having COVID. We just don't know it yet. Now, they're starting to connect the dots about some respiratory issues, about some nervous system type issues, stuff like that, but we just don't know. And so why in the world you would want to risk getting this thing? I don't know. It's beyond me. It's beyond me, man. So anyway, we have reached that magic moment. Moment. I know, and I'm gonna dedicate this one, to a sad situation in Michigan, the school shooting that went down. It's just too much, man. I mean, we see this stuff constantly, and it's a shame that we see it. But and I'm not trying to do this flippantly or anything like that, but it's just been on my mind. It's been on my heart. And, there's a lot of hurting people. And, I just want you, those folks who are suffering through this, man, you've got people all over the country thinking about you. And, it's a parent's worst nightmare. It keeps you up at night. Aaron, you and I, we've never in our school days, we've never had to do active shooter drills. The worst thing that we ever had to do was get under the desk in case of a nuclear attack, and it's
Isn't going to help a lot,
sad.
folks.
Yeah, it doesn't help a lot. It would not help a lot. So, but yeah, our kids are having to go through all this, and our hearts just go out to those folks who are in Michigan.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's really sad. There's the kid's in custody. They intend to try him as an adult for murder. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, my gut reaction is you killed people and you obviously deserve some sort of punishment. I don't know if taking this 15-year-old kid who clearly has some issues of some sort, anger. I'm not going to immediately go to mental health. I don't know that. Although, I mean, there's a part of me that says anybody who's willing to do that is mentally deranged. But at the same time, that's an unfair statement to people who have, manic depression and depression and, other types of just legit treatable mental health issues, where to lump all that shit together is unfair. But I mean, we're so far past having a discussion about what to do about this. This country's made it clear they don't care. This is the cost of doing business. This is the cost of the predominant belief of how we interpret many aspects of our Constitution and Bill of Rights. And we've made this agreement, and plenty of people have pushed back and said, nah, I'm not really in on this agreement, but nothing's being done. Nothing's being done at all. It's been 20 some years since Columbine. Mm-hmm. And by the way, for anybody who thinks this is, the frequency of it has obviously increased, but there were school shootings in this country since before we were actually a country. So there's something to be said that it's in our DNA. We're a violent culture. We're a hateful culture. And, we left so-called oppression, religious oppression and things like that, only to come and kill the native population, to enslave it, to then create a larger slave trade in the name of manifest destiny and our right to take over this land and be, glory, guns, and God, the kind of shit we learned about the Spanish and the French and the Dutch in elementary school. We just became them twice over. It's been normalized. It's who we are. And I don't know what I would say to a parent. And that, I mean, the people who defend the NRA, the people who say, no, you can't come for our guns. You should be forced to clean up the blood at that school. You should be forced to carry a kid's lifeless body out of that school.
Man. So yeah,
I'm sorry, I hijacked that, but yes, the family and loved ones and friends and everybody traumatized by this event, let's launch him.
Man. So on to lighter things.
Okay.
So ladies and gentlemen, Aaron and I are really good friends. Consider him one of my best friends. And there was a day this week that we worked for about two and a half hours. Manchester United played Chelsea this weekend, and I'm not sure we got anything from. We were talking about this at the beginning of when we started tonight. We kind of talked about this off the air, but Aaron, I think you're right. I think that looking at one match, it could be very, very loaded to do so. Chelsea got 2-1 over Watford today. So that was a we needed that because Liverpool, they're breathing down our necks, and it's a good thing. But looking back at that match, just at that match, and you kind of took something I want to talk about, but I want to see if you mention it first. What did you see that stuck out to you from that match?
Well, I saw a lot more energy out of Manchester United. One thing especially early on, the one thing that has really been noticeable under Ole teams was that they were very obviously trying to keep things compact, under control, game management in a lot of first halves of games, and didn't have much success with that. United went down, behind a goal, sometimes 2 goals early in games this year. And sort of the narrative, the hopeful narrative behind that was, well, they kept coming back and figuring out ways to get themselves back in the game and either get a point or a win. And of course, Cristiano Ronaldo scoring 91st minute winners in the Champions League is exciting. That's why you buy a guy like that. But that sort of hid the fact that United didn't approach games with the right mentality, didn't have the right energy. And, there's been a lot of discussion that, Ole had this plan in place, and getting a player like Cristiano Ronaldo, as odd as it sounds, actually caused a problem for that because he wanted to play a certain way. And now he has to accommodate a superstar that he didn't have, 2 months prior to that. So I think all those are valid. And what we saw early on in that Chelsea match was Cristiano Ronaldo dropped. Did Ralph Rangnick phone up Michael Carrick and say, hey, man, it's what I'm going to do, so why don't you go ahead and do it? Who knows? Maybe he just wanted to see something fresh. But what you saw was, a bunch of players who seemed up for it. The pressure in the first 10 minutes really caused Chelsea some problems.
My God.
I think if, I can't remember who it fell to. It might have been Sancho. I can't quite recall, or maybe it was even Bruno. But if we'd have taken a chance early, who knows how that would have gone? I think ultimately we poke a bear in that situation. That said, Reece James was in on goal in the 2nd or 4th minute. And I think a proper goal scorer finishes that. That's no diss on Reece James.
Was it Reece James or was it are you talking about the one where De Gea stuck his foot out?
Yeah.
That was not Hudson-Odoi. It was
Hudson-Odoi.
I think so. I think it was Hudson-Odoi.
Regardless,
anyway,
it fell to somebody who's not a natural goal scorer.
Yes.
And I think, if that ball falls to Lukaku, if that ball falls to Pulisic, they probably get just enough lift on it to get it around his foot. I mean, I don't want to take anything away. Look, it's the kind of play that happens at a very high level. Guy got in behind the defense on goal. Goalie makes a good save. I expect David De Gea to make that kind of save because of where the ball was. I think he gets scored on by a better goal scorer. And that could have changed the look of that game. If Man U go down inside the first 10 minutes, we could have been looking at another Liverpool kind of game. We could have gotten played off the park.
Man, I don't know.
That didn't happen.
I mean, right. It didn't happen. And I think De Gea and Mendy didn't get a lot of work, obviously. But there was one try that I can't remember. No, I think it was Fernandes. One try that he had.
Yeah.
That I was like, that's it. It's in.
Yeah.
It's in. And Mendy performed. Here's what really stuck out to me about that match is Manchester's speed.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, you have a squad that is so fast, dude. Like if their passing was just a little bit more on,
exactly
very well could have been, an onslaught. It really could have been. I mean, they are so fast, dude.
I don't know that Manchester United have the team mentality to go to a place like Stamford Bridge and really hang it on somebody. I think they've showed bits and pieces of that, and they've had some good wins early on in the season.
Yeah.
it's tough because things could really go either way right now. Rangnick is going to come in, and I think he's a really, really smart. This is one of the smartest things the board at Manchester United has done in quite some time, to have the vision to say, we're going to bring in a guy who's got a proven track record while we find the type of manager that we want to lead us long term. And that might sound counterintuitive because you're like, well, isn't Rangnick that person? Well, guy's old. He's not been an active coach for a while. He's been more of a sporting director. But let's face it, he's the guy who taught Jurgen Klopp, Thomas Tuchel, and Julian Nagelsmann what they know. He taught them this pressing system that gets used. He taught them these hot zones where you create your opportunities and what you do when those opportunities pass and how you create a new shape out of that. So it will be interesting. I think you're going to see some guys who haven't been getting minutes get more minutes. I think this is probably going to benefit Donny van de Beek the most.
Okay.
Because you're going to need a much more active midfield than we currently have. I think Harry Maguire may be looking for a new home. He just does not have the pace and ability on the ball and the speed of thought to play the kind of game that he wants. And you noticed over the weekend, Eric Bailly and Victor Lindelof was a pretty decent stand-in pairing. Now, Eric Bailly can't stay healthy, but in the long run, Rafa Varane and Victor Lindelof might be the real solution, with Bailly slotting in depending on, rotation and stuff like that.
Hey, prior to that match, we had a Timo Werner sighting. Werner actually scored. And, here's the deal. I know he takes so much shit, and I totally understand. And I know you're going to give me shit for this. I really do. But, and Aaron, seriously, push back on this. But I just believe that once a striker, always a striker. I think that you have to be. Now, is he in the right system? I don't know. I think that's still to be seen, and I think it's erring and waning toward the side of no. But the guy, he has an engine that doesn't stop, dude. I mean, if you watch that match, Werner, when he was in against Man U, I mean, the guy was just everywhere. He was doing everything he could. I just think that give him more chances, man. I don't know. I mean, I like the guy. I like the guy. And you're right. Just because I like the guy, I know where you're going. I can see it in your face. Just because you like the guy doesn't mean that you keep feeding him.
I like him a lot too. And he got bought on the back of a tremendous season in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
I think two things have happened. I think he's just not been able to adjust to the league itself. And when a striker doesn't adjust and they don't have confidence, you talk about chances, and I think you mean play him and give him the opportunity to play. That's his chance. But I'm talking about chances as in goal scoring chances and opportunities. And you can see his confidence is just not there. He's missing sitters. He's missing goals that average players would probably be taking. It reminds me a lot of Fernando Torres back in the day, that, world-class striker. And I don't think Timo's quite world-class. I don't, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have a role to play. It makes me wonder if second half of the season, when Lukaku's healthy, when Pulisic is healthy, when Havertz is healthy, maybe send Timo on loan somewhere, send him somewhere where he's going to play. Put him either down in the championship or send him to maybe Italy or France, where the opportunities are going to be there and he has an opportunity to get his confidence back up, because he's got a role to play. And the fact is, if Lukaku were healthy, he'd have started that match.
Oh, yeah.
He got a 10-minute cameo.
Yeah. Yes. He would have started the match. He needs to start matches. He absolutely needs to.
He's just been hurt.
Matches. He's been hurt. And here's what I love about Chelsea this year. Lukaku's been hurt. Pulisic is not himself. He's been hurt. He's been hurt too. And so, these guys who are your headliners have been hurt, and you still find yourself in first place.
Yep.
I think we're sitting in a good spot, man.
Sitting very, very
Spot.
pretty. Liverpool put the smackdown on Everton today and demonstrated that
They
they're
did.
definitely in the race. City.
Oh yeah.
I didn't watch the City Villa match, but I did see that they won.
Yeah.
It's a 3-horse race. It's a 3-horse race.
Okay.
Look, if we manage to claw our way back into it, I don't think Arsenal have the squad to challenge for the title, but I think they will challenge for the top 4.
What is going on with Arsenal, dude?
Trust the process.
What do you see?
I see a bunch of players who finally bought in to what Arteta is wanting to do. It takes a while, and they've had a couple players really step up and become the type of, Emil Smith Rowe, young English kid. He's impressive, but Tavares and Gabriel, they've stepped up and made Arsenal's defense a lot harder to break down. And apparently Gabriel fought off a home invader with a baseball bat. He actually fought off 3 guys with a baseball bat the other day. And so Gabriel is a badass. Also, why are Arsenal players continually getting attacked? What the hell's going on? Right. I mean, trust me, I think they're soft too, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go try to carjack them.
I said, this is what I said the other day to my friend Jens, who is one of my colleagues. We were talking about soccer, and I said, Arteta is literally Ted Lasso. He has finally gotten his team to believe. He's finally gotten his team on board. He's brought them together. I'm like, oh my God, this is Bournemouth. This is Bournemouth FC. That's, all they're missing is Jamie Tartt. That's it. I mean,
I'm more inclined to say Mikel Arteta is Nate because he's because he's kind of got a mean streak to him.
Yeah, that's true.
This time about a year and a half ago, a lot of the talk about what was going on with the team was the fact that Arteta was really encouraging a lot of, to put it nicely, heavy tackling in practice, really getting stuck in. And there were multiple fights in practice. And as a manager, you're okay with that happening from time to time. You want to see some guys show some fire. But when guys are showing up day to day, looking to just scrap, now you've created a locker room problem. You're creating division. And I think they had some of that going on. And because of that, certain people weren't buying in. You could see it. The Guendouzi was really struggling to buy in, and that's why he's gone. What's this? Granit Xhaka. Man, he was on the cusp. He was really on the cusp. I mean, when you take off your shirt and you flip off the crowd while you throw your armband to the ground, not a lot of guys make the comeback from that. And to his credit, he's put his head down and bought in, and these players are playing well. I still think they're missing a handful of players that they would need to make a real title challenge. But again, it's a process from where Arsenal's been to where Arsenal is now.
Oh my God.
They should be saying, keep this up. Maybe we get a top 4 finish, but we should definitely get European spot. Next year, in the off season here, we can bring in some more players. Aubameyang might be aging out. Lacazette might be aging out, but there's plenty of young. There's always a new hungry striker in the world. They've managed to lock down their defense because guess what? There ain't always a new hungry center back out there. Those guys are like, they don't grow on trees, man. They are manna from heaven when you can find one. Because look, United thought they were getting the next Virgil van Dijk and Harry Maguire, and basically they bought a really big refrigerator.
Oh God. Not everybody can find an Aaron Gordon, ladies and gentlemen. That's just that's what it is. The guy that can play any position on the field.
I played goalie for the last 2 weeks. I kept a clean sheet last week and we got the win last night.
Hey, there you go. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are now entering into the Hey Aaron segment of the evening. And Aaron, you realize what month this is. And I'm a sucker. I am a sucker for the holidays, dude. I really am. And so tonight we are going to play Name That Movie based on the quote. So I'm going to read a movie quote, and these are Christmas movies.
Okay.
And so you're going to have to guess the movie based on the quote, my friend. Okay. Let's see. And the nice thing is I don't have to pull this up. I don't have to pull it up. So they can continue to see your lovely face, my friend. All right. Are you ready?
Hit me.
Okay, here we go. Number one. Nobody's walking out on this fun old-fashioned family Christmas.
Christmas Vacation.
Ah, there you go. There you go. All right.
Classic. Absolute classic. Everyone will watch that. Everyone will pick that up no matter where it is. You could be 15 minutes in or there could be 15 minutes to go. You're going to stop and watch that movie. And I tell you what, I went to a Christmas party a couple years ago, and the hosts had the little Marty Moose big antler eggnog cups.
The mug. Yes. Yes. That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. Yeah, so if you know the movie, give commentary what you think about it. Okay, here we go. Next one. I planned out our whole day. First, we'll make snow angels for 2 hours. Then we'll go ice skating. Then we'll eat a whole roll of Toll House cookie dough as fast as we can, and then we'll snuggle.
These all like classic Christmas films, or are you just watching Hallmark Channel now?
No. This is a classic. Yeah, I mean, it's old enough to be a classic, I think.
Okay.
I think.
Old enough to be a classic.
Yeah.
But you're asking this, so it's got to be in our wheelhouse. It had to be a movie we all watched when we were kids or teenagers.
I think a little more modern than that.
Wow, I didn't think this was going to be difficult. I'm going to have to pass on this. I might know the movie once you tell me.
Elf.
Who delivers the line?
It's oh God. Ferrell, Will Ferrell.
He says it?
I plan out our whole day. First, we'll make snow angels for 2 hours.
Okay.
Then we'll go ice skating. Then we'll eat a whole roll of Toll House cookie dough as fast as we can, and then we'll snuggle. Yep.
All right. I'm assuming he's talking to Zooey Deschanel in that moment, and
I would be talking to Zooey Deschanel.
I'm pretty sure I was just not hearing anything anybody said and was just staring deeply into her soul through her eyes.
Okay, next. Here we go. There's a certain magic that comes with the very first snow. For when the first snow is also a Christmas snow, well, something wonderful is bound to happen.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Oh, no. The big clue is there's a certain magic that comes with the very first snow.
The Santa Claus?
No. Frosty the Snowman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the classics for quite some time.
It's, they're good. They're good to go back through and just kind of watch.
Yeah.
You get nostalgic, you drink some spiked eggnog
and
just
watch an old cartoon through the lens of modern culture and see how many incredibly wrong references get made.
How many racist things are there? It's like
racist, gendering, misogynist.
Jeez. All right. That's what Christmas memories are made from. Then they're not planned. They're not scheduled. Nobody puts them in their BlackBerry. They just happen.
My God, BlackBerry is a reference. Scrooged?
No. Deck the halls, my friend. Deck the halls.
I am not familiar with the movie Deck the Halls. Who is in this?
You know what? Neither am I. I just read them. I just said, so I don't know. Deck the halls. Hey, okay, there you go.
Ed McMahon, everybody. Ed McMahon.
I'm just saying. Does
Yes!
anybody know who's in Deck the Halls? Message us. Here we go. Next. Yes, I do. I like Christmas. I love Christmas.
The Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
Oh man, you were like, that was probably the best guess when it comes to this one.
But I'm wrong.
Go back a little more. Someone just realized, yes,
Scrooged?
yeah. Well, A Christmas Carol.
The original Scrooge. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I like Christmas. I love Christmas. There you go.
I don't know that I've ever fully seen A Christmas Carol, but I do think I have seen the Scrooge McDuck version of A Christmas Carol.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm going to, I can't speak to Scrooge McDuck, which I'm sure is, classic cinema. But I'm going to suggest watch the musical with Albert Finney.
Okay.
Albert Finney as
Love
Scrooge.
Albert Finney.
It is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And he is such an incredible actor.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Dude, you will love it. You'll love it. All right. That's the same one. Why would you? What? No. I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. It's A Christmas Carol. We know that one. Sorry, I should have pre-read these, but I didn't. Anyway, here we go. I never thought it was such a bad little tree. It's not bad at all, really. Maybe it just needs a little love.
Oh, God, that sounds really familiar.
It should.
Oh, but I'm drawing a blank. Goodness. I'm gonna have to get out my Christmas watching movies.
Let me try to channel this character. I never thought it was such a bad little tree. It's not bad at all, really. Maybe it just needs a little love as I wrap my blue blanket around the bottom of it.
A Peanuts Christmas.
Yes, the Charlie Brown Christmas, my friend. That's
what the voice ultimately did give it away. I finally did get there. It wasn't a perfect impersonation, but I got it.
I know.
The blue blanket gave it away, but I had it before then. I would have thought that would have made Linus sound like more of a blues singer. Not a bad little tree at all. I put my little blue blanket around it. Hey. I put my little blue blanket around it.
Okay, here. Oh man, this is so easy. You're gonna nail this one, and if you don't nail this one, I'm not sure we can be friends, man. There's a lot of pressure on this.
No shit.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Hands down, the best Christmas movie of all time. A Christmas Story. Also, really, really difficult to watch without picking up on the fairly overt racism, misogyny, and other things in that movie. It is still funny to this day. It is absolutely funny to this day. And my favorite thing, and I can't remember which came first, but Ralphie's little brother can't put his arms down, and as soon as he gets dressed, he has to pee. But every time I watch that movie, it reminds me of was it a Channel 13 Bob Gregory Snow Time thing? And they used to run the commercial with the kid. You're not from Indiana, so you might not be familiar with this, but it was an old-timey commercial where the kid got all dressed up and ran out to play in the snow.
Oh my God. That's awesome. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Next, and you got to be specific about this one. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Oh God, I'm drawing a blank. I know. I absolutely. Oh my God. A Christmas Party?
No. Home Alone 2.
Oh, I've never seen any of them. Never seen any Home Alone movies.
You know what? I've never seen the second one. I saw the first one. First one's friggin' hilarious. It's really good. It's a funny movie. It's a feel good.
I'm totally familiar with it, and I'm sure I've seen it all in 5-minute snippets on in the background over the holidays.
Yep.
What's funny is that's the epitome of one of those movies that you couldn't make nowadays, because the only way that movie works is if no one has a cell phone. Cell
True.
phones ruin the premise of
That's
so many
true.
movies. Your
That is
inability
true.
to communicate with somebody. Because
Yeah.
even if you personally didn't have a cell phone, you'd be able to turn to somebody and be like, I think our son has been left home alone. Can I borrow your cell phone, please?
And 9 times out of 10, people be like, "Oh, whoa, hell
Well,
yeah,
and now the parents would get on their phone and they'd get on their Ring doorbell cam that has the interior baby camera and be like, oh, he's okay. We can still go on vacation.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
There's
Last
turkey in the
one,
fridge.
Last one, my friend. Okay. And I'm gonna once again try and channel the character. Here we go. But for now, this is writing. But for now, let me say, without hope or agenda, just because it's Christmas, and at Christmas you tell the truth. To me, you are perfect.
Let me preface this by saying,
Here we go.
I do enjoy this movie.
Yes.
I really, really do like this movie.
Okay.
If you begin thinking about any character arc, any relationship, anything going on in this movie, it's really, truly horrible. It is. The little boy basically stalks the girl throughout the movie.
Oh my God. Yeah.
The scene you're talking about is a guy's best friend going to his best friend's newly married wife and telling her he's had a crush on her. And then all of the entire wedding video is him filming her in a very creepy way. Yeah, you've got a guy cheating on his wife with his office assistant all movie long. The only thing remotely sympathetic in that movie is that Liam Neeson was legitimately going through the exact same situation in his own personal life as his character is. His wife had just died, and he's trying to sort it out. But even the Hugh Grant getting with his personal assistant, first off, it's wildly inappropriate from an HR perspective. Apparently the UK does not have any sort of the royal family does not have an HR department, as we well know by now.
No. Yeah, right.
But secondly, she's a really attractive woman who gets fat shamed for the entire film. I mean, Hugh Grant's personal assistant says something to the effect of, not with those thighs.
True.
And she's not even a really, would you call her thick? I don't think I'd call her thick. I certainly wouldn't use 2 C's.
And that is why I love you, my friend. Because you know about the 2 C's, man. You know about the 2 C's. I venture to guess that most people watching this was like THICK. No,
right?
No. Know
your names, kids. Know your names.
So the name of this movie is
Love Actually.
Yes, well done. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end.
You know what? I take it back.
You did great.
The best relationship in that movie is the old guy singing and his buddy, and they don't go to the Elton John party so they can hang out together. I think that's a good one.
That's a good one. I like that.
And Love Actually is all around us.
Love is all around. Oh, wow. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it quits for tonight. Come to the second favorite part of the show for me. My friend Aaron gets to send us home. And ladies and gentlemen, look, it's been another enjoyable Wednesday. We hope that you had a great Thanksgiving last week. Hope that coming into this holiday season that you guys are just, you're stoked about seeing family, but you're safe about seeing family as well, and friends. Just love each and every one of you guys. And after actually, I'm going to let Aaron talk a little bit about this. we probably after the beginning of the year, we're looking at changing a few things around about the Evan and Aaron show. And Aaron, you can talk about that, and then just send us out, my friend. What do you got for us?
We didn't really get a chance to touch on the Ahmaud Arbery judgment in the last week. The holidays can be tough. I have not wrapped my head around it. This will be my first holiday season without my mother. But I'm not the only one who has felt lost this year. A lot of people lost people through COVID. A lot of people lost people ancillary to COVID because of things. So the holidays can be tough. But the holidays can also be a time to figure out where you are, who you've got around you, remind yourself that you do have people around that care. And I think at the end of the day, that's a big part of what we've tried to do with this show, is in the short term was for the two of us to keep demonstrating the brotherly love that we have, to be able to stay connected in a world that was not allowing us to do that. And we have this technology, and we've slowly got a few people to join in with us. And I hope a few times over the last probably almost 2 years now, we've brought a little hope, a little joy, a little happiness. I know we've all laughed and cried over some of the things. And as Evan said, we're probably going to make some sort of change to this show, to the format, to how it's presented. Haven't fully decided yet. Got a lot of ideas bouncing around. I'm not sure if we're going to Kaizen that or bonefish it, or, what sort of corporate speak type of breakdown session we're going to have. But I have a feeling there's going to be a whiteboard involved, probably a lot of lines drawn, a lot of pros and cons, that sort of thing. Yep. But we're going to be here, and we're going to be here still throughout the holidays until we do finally make this decision to change. And you guys will be the first to know. And we appreciate you being along on this journey with us, and we hope you'll stick around. And we're going to be here through the holidays in case you're somebody who occasionally tunes in. Maybe you're somebody who watches this on YouTube and we don't even know you. And hopefully this gives you a feeling that here's at least two people who unconditionally care, unconditionally want to show that type of love and spread that to the world, because that's a big part of what we're doing. We're just showing love to each other, and by extension, radiating that out to you guys. So, to quote the British Prime Minister, it seems to me that love is everywhere. Often it's not particularly dignified or newsworthy, but it's always there. Fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, husbands and wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, old friends. Folks, love actually is all around. We love you. It's 12/1. We've got 1 month before the end of the year. We got 24 days till Christmas. We're going to count them down. By the way, happy Hanukkah to those of you who are celebrating. I don't know when Kwanzaa begins, but I believe it is not too far away. And any other holiday I'm missing for any particular group that I don't know. I wish you that best holiday too. And love's all around, folks. Black people vote.
People vote.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.